And we all know the Yankees are going into the trade deadline being buyers. They're not going to be sellers. They have never been sellers. In the last 35 years, the Yankees have always been buyers. Now, this isn't obviously George Steinbrenner. This is Hal Steinbrenner. And Hal Steinbrenner wants to make sure that the money is going to be safe when it comes to the luxury tax. And George used to throw money out there like he's buying a city. He's buying a building. So the Yankees have done that many, many times over the years. This is a different Yankee team. Now, obviously, there's going to be spots to fill, especially in the rotation, especially in the starting rotation. The Yankees are always looking for a pitcher to fill in certain spots. The Yankees have not really been healthy as far as the rotation is concerned all season long. Believe it or not, the Yankees lineup has been fairly healthy. It's been really their rotation that hasn't been. Over the years, it's always been their rotation. Not their rotation. It's always been their lineup that hasn't been healthy, and the rotation has been fairly healthy over the years. But it's been over 5 years, and Aaron Boone has, the one thing I could say Aaron Boone hasn't done very well in his coaching, his managing, is the bullpen. The bullpen is usually one of the best bullpens in baseball in the first half of the season. And after the trade deadline, it's arguably one of the worst bullpens in baseball. And this is something that Brian Cashman has to lock in on. Not because everybody wants to fire Aaron Boone. And everybody's come out on social media. Every Yankee fan thinks that this is Aaron Boone's fault. You can take responsibility. And Aaron Boone does take responsibility on the way the team is playing. But the one thing I can say about the Yankees is they're not getting timely hitting. This has been a problem for the Yankees for over 15 years. It's been a problem for them in the playoffs. And they need to find guys that are going to fill in certain spots, especially in that lineup, that's going to help out Aaron Judge. It's going to help out guys like Goldschmidt, who has kind of fallen back. We said this. He was hot in the beginning of the season. He went from batting .385 for the first month, and now he's at 280 at best, 275. I didn't think he was going to stay at 350. I thought he, over the next couple of weeks, he was going to drop a little bit over 300. But I've been very impressed with Paul Goldschmidt. First of all, he adds leadership. He's a great defender, and he's added the offense that the Yankees needed over the last couple of months when losing Juan Soto. And we're going to get into the whole Juan Soto situation. Trust me, we're going to get there. But designating DJ LeMahieu is not a surprise. Anybody that thinks it was a surprise that DJ LeMahieu was being designated, well, then you don't know what's going on with the fact that the Yankees are not getting enough from DJ LeMahieu. What they're paying for him. Now, they're still going to have to pay DJ LeMahieu no matter where he goes. If the Yankees decide to trade him, if the Yankees decide to release him, he's still going to get paid, so it doesn't matter if he's on the roster or not. But right now, he's taking away a spot where you can bring up or trade for, where you can add certain offensive options that the Yankees haven't had all season. The infield, Volpe's been a shell of what he was in his rookie season. And I'm not saying he was hitting, and he wasn't hitting for average last year, but he's been absolutely putrid throughout this season. And he's not giving you enough offense. He really hasn't been the defensive player he was in his rookie year. Remember, he won the Gold Glove for the American League last year. And now this year, he's made some errors. He's made mistakes. And the Yankees are losing faith that this guy could be the future when it comes to the shortstop position. Devin Williams, who started off very, very slow for the Yankees. Very slow. He was horrible. I think his ERA was at 9 at one point.
I think even higher, like 12 something.
Yeah, I think it got to like 12 and a half.
All right. It's definitely different. He's been much better. I think
below a 5 now.
Yeah, he's starting to get, into, that optional pitching, method, which he was in Milwaukee. Now, he's not as good as he was in Milwaukee, okay? Obviously not, because in Milwaukee, he was pitching close to 1, and he's not doing that. But he's giving the Yankees that 8th inning help. Luke Weaver has been such a great optional pitcher in that bullpen, where you've moved him from the 7th inning, to the 8th inning, to the 9th inning, and closing for the Yankees over the last 2 seasons. And he went from a guy that was a starter. Now he's been a bullpen specialist. He's been fantastic. The Yankees need to add another arm in that bullpen that's going to help these guys take some pressure off of guys like Devin Williams and Luke Weaver. That's something I think a guy like Brian Cashman has to look at, because, again, the bullpen is so important making this playoff run. The Yankees have fallen behind the Blue Jays. I do not believe the Blue Jays are going to keep up this pace. I don't think they're that good, as a matter of fact. They have players like Vladimir Guerrero, got a lot of money. Actually, $325 million up front, which is the most I've ever seen a player in professional sports ever get. But nevertheless, he's a guy that's having a good season. But again, I don't trust their rotation, and their bullpen has been iffy over the last 2 seasons. And they have a lot of young pitchers in that rotation. So I expect the Blue Jays to start to make, to make a dip. I do believe that the Yankees should make a run out of a big-time hitter in this lineup. They need to add another big bat in this lineup, maybe a left-handed bat, maybe a switch hitter. I think that this lineup is not enough to make a run for a World Series like they did last year. They got very lucky. Juan Soto got hot in the playoffs against Cleveland, and he didn't play very well in the World Series. We all know what Juan Soto did in the playoffs, but except in the World Series. I think the Yankees need to add at least 1 or 2 bats. But Brian Cashman coming out and saying, hey, you know what we're going to do? We're all in at the trade deadline. We know he's all in. He's always been all in. The question is he going to make the right moves that is going to put the Yankees in the right position to make that run?
Yeah, and also we wonder, like, he's saying this now. Is he trying to accelerate the market faster in order to do that? Is he trying to emphasize, all right, we're going to go in on these positions in specific, which is a good thing that he didn't say specifically that. At the same time, I don't love what him saying about, like, all right, we're going to label Jazz Chisholm as just a second baseman, and that's going to take away the second base trade market at the trade deadline. Meaning, are you only going to go for third baseman in the infield? Are you thinking about moving someone else to third base? I think that'll limit the market in that regard. If you want to make some kind of big swing, I don't know how available he'll get to be for somebody like a Ketel Marte, I think that could be an option for them to be able to go at. As far as the pitching is concerned, I'm not as good with I'm not as big on the labels as much as you want to have starters, relievers type thing, but you want to have some kind of versatility and pitching depth. That's what wins now. It's not as much of those raw 7, 8, 9 bullpens anymore. It's more of those versatile bullpens that could do so many different things.
Speedy, I'm going to firmly and hardly disagree with you on the versatility of the back end of the bullpen, and I'll tell you why. Because if you don't know if you're the 6th inning guy, 7th inning guy, 8th inning guy, 9th inning guy, you don't know when to prepare. You can prepare physically, but mentally to be locked in, not knowing if you're coming to set up or you're coming to close is the hardest thing to do, because you can't be locked in that long. Do I start warming up in the 4th? Do I keep my routine as the closer guy when I start getting ready in the 6th? Or how do I do it? So now every day is something different. So I'm going to disagree with you on that, because yes, you're going to have guys where they can step in and fill that closer role if somebody's gone 3 days in a row or 4 out of 5. But if you don't have a set standard in that role, I don't think your bullpen can be as good as it is, because now nobody knows if Luke is closing, Devin's going to close, and we've seen it bounce back and forth. Look at all the teams that are successful and have won World Series. What was the back end of their bullpen? Guys could step up when they needed it, but each guy, there was a setup guy, there was a get him out of a jam guy, and there was a closer. And 9 times out of 10, that's the role that they set up in. And
it's more of less of not as much of a like set role over the time, Joba. I think it's more of the label that they have at the trade deadline too. Like I look at the Braves as an example. Look at how many like 3 new relievers they got, and none of them.
At the trade deadline doesn't matter as far as a label for what the bullpen is. I mean, it's what they see fit of what's the void that they're going to fill is why they're going to, and they're going to do
what's also available.
Yeah, and who they're going to get rid of, who do they want, and a lot of it too is are they going to sell and be like, okay, we need to get something back for these big league ready guys. How much are you willing to give up? How much are you willing to move, shake? How much salary are you willing to take on? What's left of a salary, left of a years of a contract? Like there's so much that goes into it. And he can say whatever he wants to say. He says it every year. What'd they do last year? They got a reliever that nobody knew the hell who he was. And he's like, yep, we got another reliever. No, you didn't do anything. And so he talks all this mess every year. Hal's going to come down to numbers. He always does. Cash is going to say he did something. And all in, like, oh, yeah, what he did with DJ. DJ had played his balls off. He gave everything. He was so hurt. You guys have no idea. I got a lot of information from the inside about like how he like it wasn't for lack of effort of trying to get back. Like he just had put himself through the ringer and just he couldn't physically do it anymore. And he gave everything he got. And yeah, he was upset, but I wouldn't be too upset. You're going home still making $22 million, so he's going to be fine. But
guy that I want to see get called up is Spencer Jones. He's been very, very hot right now. The last 3 weeks, he's been hot. He's been called up from AA to AAA. I think he's batting .375 in the last 2.5 weeks. He's been as hot as any Yankee in their farm system when it comes to bats. Now, a lot of people think that they're going to wait at least one more year to call this kid up. But if he's hitting like that in AAA, why not see what the kid has in a week or two and see what he could do in the lineup? Maybe adding him to a lineup, maybe a double-header game on a weekend. See what this guy could do in the outfield. See what he could do as a 5-tool player. Now, they say he's got tremendous speed. He's got tremendous power. I did read that he's fixed the speed of his bat in the offseason. I think his stance is a little different than it was last year, so it's definitely helped him when it comes to the plate. Now, obviously, he's still very young. He's 22, 23 years old, and the Yankees saw, if you remember Aaron Judge, you didn't see Aaron Judge until what, 24, 25 years old, until they called him up in the middle of the season, and then
Aaron Judge went to college, too.
Yes, he did. And at 25, Aaron Judge won the Rookie of the Year and had that unbelievable season. He was almost up for an MVP if it wasn't for Altuve, if you remember that.
Cheating Altuve.
Yeah, so I expect – I'm not saying Spencer Jones is Aaron Judge, but what the Yankees think that this kid could be the future of this outfield when Aaron Judge has to step down or give somebody the reign for the future when it comes to power or superstar that the Yankees are going to be calling up in the future.
I could see I could see why they would do it. I can see why they wouldn't. It's a very small sample size of what he's done in AAA, and I can see why, because everybody's excited about it, and he's obviously shown and made the adjustment. But then it's okay. Now what happens? You bring him up, and he absolutely shits the bed and goes 0 for 35. Now, did you make him worse or did you make him better? And the development side of it is it sexy to bring him up because is it going to put butts in seats? Yeah. But as much as they love him right now in AAA, he goes 0 for 30 and makes 2 errors in the outfield. We're going to be having a different conversation. Was that the right move to make?
But Joba, what happens if he's a piece that the Yankees are looking to trade to add another big bat? You call him up, he gets a little hot, he goes up to the plate maybe 10 times and gets 2 home runs out of 10 bats. Then you have something to, we got a guy.
Everybody already knows what he's going to do. Doing it in the big leagues, and say they called him up today, in 4 games isn't going to raise his stock or lessen his stock. They're already projecting him, and that's all it is projections until he actually goes and proves it. Yeah, Volpe was supposed to be the next Derek Jeter. He's going to be a career 220 hitter. Yeah, so we know what you're going to get. So I could see why we do it. I would be excited to see him. Like, it's nice that, they cover some of these minor league games and we get to watch them for free, like when Skeens was in the minor leagues and some of these other young big prospects. I kind of relate him to Caglione from Kansas City and kind of how the rise and the stature, left-handed, big prospect type of deal. And Caglione just hit like a 490-foot homer the other day. So his is translated very well. So I could see it from both sides. It's just I don't know the kid personally, so I don't know how he would handle that failure of coming up.
So I'm reading numbers right now, what he's doing in AAA. Now, going into the season, in AA, he had 16 home runs in 49 AA games this season. Since he's been called up to AAA, he's cranked 5 bombs and is in his first 10 contests. When you tack on the 3 doubles and 8 walks, he's got a 1.315 OPS right now in AAA. He's the hottest hitter right now in AAA in baseball. And again, it's still such a short sample size, but the Yankees need some kind of spark. Maybe calling him up a week or 2 weeks. Then you have something.